All right, guys, we are here today. We got retail sales data, we got jobless claims, unemployment filings also today. We also had Taiwan Semiconductors come out with their earnings early this morning. Let me make sure we're monetized. Yep, okay, good. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff happening today. We'll see if it leads anywhere good with markets. I know TSM is up pretty big, dragging the rest of the market up. Nvidia at 140 is getting pretty close to all-time highs for Nvidia. You know, if we look at Taiwan Semiconductors, this thing is up to 204. It's dragging the entire market up with it. Nvidia at 140s. We got SPY at 585s. Can y'all hear the music? You should be able to. Let me see. Again, retail sales data chat. Can y'all hear the music? I think my headphones might not be on. Hold on, let me make sure. Fix this. Alright, guys. Do I have another black eye here? Look at that. I think I do, man. What's up? Wait, Robert, Old, Crash, Dan, Rich, Coffee, Raz. What's up, guys? Good morning. All right, so retail sales data dropping at 8:30. We also have jobless claims unemployment. It's a pretty big report. We had Taiwan Semiconductors come out with some earnings early this morning. Blackstone also reported 101 EPS versus 91 cents expected. AUM at 1.1 TLN expected 1.1 TLN, so that was as expected. Travelers posted 524 versus 370 EPS. Revenue of 11.9 versus 11.45. So Travelers beat expectations. Yeah, look at we had RTX is going to pay $574.7 million to resolve a U.S. procurement fraud and pricing investigation, according to court records. So I wonder if RTX is down. Airbus had some news this morning as well. We're looking at it. It says it's in its early stages of analyzing the financial impact of defense and space job cuts, and will take provisions once necessary conditions are fulfilled. Coffee's good. Microsoft announced general availability of new Azure Cobalt 100-based virtual machines. I'm trying to look. Where's the Taiwan Semiconductor numbers here? Maybe it was too early for them to even report it. Let me put it up. Amazon says it's launching a new Kindle lineup. Includes Kindle Scribe and colored Kindles. So that's good. TSM. Beat on earnings. They posted, dude, where are the freaking earnings report? Okay, there it is. So I see quarter 3 GAAP EPS 194 beat the 177 estimates. So here's TW or TSM right here. Taiwan Semiconductors, again 194 EPS beat the 177 estimates. Sales of 23.5 beat the 23.1 estimates. So we got that going on. Again, jobless claims are expected today. the first big data report week that we have today. The rest of the week's been pretty busy. We also have the ECB rate decision today, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So at 8:15, the ECB makes their rate decision. They are expecting a 25 basis point cut from 3.65% to 3.4%. So they're expecting a 25 basis point cut. The deposit facility rate is supposed to go down from 3.5 to 3.1 or 3.25. So yeah, 25 basis point cut, and then they have their press conference at 8:45. Yeah, jobless claims today are expected. We also have the Philly Fed Index also. So jobless claims expected at 241,000. Retail sales. They are expected at. And then we also had European CPI dropping. Or no. Yeah. We had European CPI dropping, which apparently isn't out yet. I'll have to refresh this. But Philly Fed Index coming out today. ECB rate decision. Retail sales are expected at 0.3%. Month to month. Do these two reports show economic strength or weakness? All right, guys. So yeah, there is the essentially what we're supposed to drop at. Bull trap today. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so we're watching the NASDAQ here. Let me do a poll. We're going to ask, does today's retail sales and jobless claims data show economic strength or weakness? Strength. No, vote on that poll. I think that's a good poll option. Yeah, it's weird. So like the report's coming out today. This is the only major report that we really got this week. You know, I mean, it's a big day. Like all of them are kind of consolidated towards one specific data we got, like day, which is today. So all of them are kind of dropping today, which is really interesting. You know, look at TSM. They're up big. Look at our votes. 60% think strength, 40% think weakness. All right, guys. So, yeah, I'm looking at the rest of the news today. Honestly, today we have jobless claims, retail sales, Philly Fed Index, industrial production, capacity utilization, business inventories, the home builder confidence index, as well as the ECB rate decision and accompanying press conference. So that's all we got today. I love you. Hey, John, I'm close to hitting the profit goal on Top Step, of course. Could you tell me how will it continue after? Yeah, I mean, if you hit your profit target goal, then you will then be able to activate your funded account. It'll cost like $150 to activate it, I think. But then once you're there, you're funded. You know, you just gotta hit your profit target, or not hit your profit target. You just gotta follow their rules once you're funded, and you know, try to make money. What I would personally do, and again, this is just me, can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. What I would personally do is I would scale down size once funded, right? Because you got to take some risks once you're when you're trying to get funded. In my opinion, once you hit it, I would scale down size. I love your strength. Wish you could add some alternatives in your poll options to gather the overall people's opinion. I mean, I think both of these are two different ways you could look at it. Is that economic strength or economic weakness? Which one do you guys think this data will show? And again, today we have retail sales and jobless claims. So which way do you think this will lead everything? What's up, Milo? What do you think is the best strategy to invest in the S&P for midterm 2, 3, 4 years? 2, 3, 4 years is a tough time because, you know, there's always a degree of variance with that time frame. What do I mean by that is, like, the market moves like this, right? Like, I'll draw a picture of how the market moves. Like, I'm going to draw it underneath this chart. So this is the S&P 500. It goes up, big pullback. And this big pullback could come anywhere. It goes up, big pullback. It goes up, so forth and so on, right? And let's say this is like 1 out of 20 years. Say this is 20 years at the end, and this is 1 year. So this is the time frame, 1 through 20 years, right? On that time frame that you mentioned, there's always a chance that if you decide to enter the market here, you know, your 1 to 4 year position, it could be down massively, right? And you don't ever know when these big pullbacks are going to happen, right? Like, you don't ever know when that type of stuff happens. So if you're unlucky and you get caught buying here, and then a year or two goes by, and then boom, you get this big massive drop, you're gonna be down. And that's, you know, it's not the most predictable thing either. Like, people act like crashes are just super predictable in hindsight. They're really not. Like, they're not easy to predict. Most people get them wrong. Most people over predict them, and then in turn, when they finally do happen, nobody's ready for them. It's because freaking Steve over wherever has said that, you know, we were going to crash 30 times in a row. You know, freaking Jared telling everybody. hey, the market's gonna crash, guys. It's the end of the world, and then we don't. And so it makes them stop fearing and crashes as much because they've seen so many people get wrong about it. And in turn, when it finally does happen, nobody's ready for it because people have diluted crash predictions. And so with that in mind, like that time frame of 1, 2, 3, 4 years investments is risky. It's very risky. Like if you hold something for 10 years, right? It's still risky, but the risk is not losing money really. It's more so missing out on gains, right? Because like let's say you buy it for a year. You buy it 1 year. For year 1, you buy into the S&P 500. If it crashes in year 7, let's say, number one, you're probably going to be up enough to where even if it does crash, you're going to be break even anyway after the crash, right? Like you're just going to lose out on the last 7 years of gains, which is going to suck, but it's not going to be as bad as you being down more. If you crash a year or 2 in, then you've got the following 5 years to rebound, and generally the market does rebound pretty quickly in that period of time. And so if you hold something for 10 years, it's usually pretty safe, right? And when I say something, I mean the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, stuff like that. Hey, thank you, Jan. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. Is it Jan or Jan? Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. But no, and so that's the way you got to understand it, is that like 1 to 4 years is very risky. You just got to be ready to lose. If and again, it doesn't mean you will. Chances are you're probably not. Like chances are you buy something, you hold it for 3-4 years, you're probably gonna make money. You're probably gonna make decent money, right? But there's always that like 1 in 3, 1 in 4 chance that you just get caught in a crash, and it's not gonna be fun. But the people who lose the most in that regard in crashes are people who get emotional and sell. And so with that logic in mind, unless you need to retire imminently, you should be okay, And if you really want to hedge against it, what I personally like doing myself, and this is not a perfect strategy, nothing is, right? But what I like doing myself is I look for blue chip healthy companies during earnings season to pull back massively 20-30%. Sometimes less, sometimes more. I'll just look for big pullbacks in healthy blue chip legacy companies. It needs to be legacy companies like Meta, like Walmart, like Target, like companies that have been around a long time and that make lots of money, and we see they make lots of money. I wait for overreactions to middle range earnings, like earnings that were good, weren't bad, but they dropped 15, 20, 30% on it. I'll buy those up, and then I'll turn those into investments. That way I'm getting a really cheap entry anyway. And so the likelihood that it's going to bounce back in the following year is very, very high on those strategies. It's been one of the most effective strategies, at least recently. It's all relative to the current market, right? So sometimes the market's not going to behave that way, and sometimes stocks are going to continue pulling back, and we're going to have longer term action. But one of the things that's incredibly consistent about markets is that generally index funds are going to go up. Let me get the timer up, my bad. Alright, so yeah, we got an hour and about 11 minutes left. With jobless claims. Hey, thank you for the donation. The guillotine strategy, yeah. I don't really land that many guillotines on people anymore, not unless they're kind of rookies. Again, in jiu-jitsu, I've kind of slowly transitioned towards, like, I used to love the guillotine, the gilly, it's what it's nicknamed. I used to love it. I still love it, right? And if somebody gives me their neck, and it depends on how high caliber of a person I'm sparring against. Like if I will attack the guillotine or the guillotine, I don't know how you pronounce it really. I would attack I attack it if there's an opportunity for it, and if the person I'm rolling against is either very, very good, very, very good, and I don't really have another option. I know if I spar with them or continue to spar with them, say they're much bigger than me. Like if you're much bigger than me, I'm going to try to hit the guillotine on you because that's my equalizer. And I can usually finish it pretty well. Some people are just really resilient to it, but others are really susceptible to it. But if that doesn't work, you know, I got to just be ready to play bottom guard. You know, or what I like to use it for, really, like where I use it the most, is I'll latch on to somebody that way and get front headlock position, and then I will use that front headlock position to do other stuff, especially in a gi, right? So basically, if somebody shoots in on me, I'll grab them, I'll kind of snap them down, you know, I'll grab them, I'll snap them down, and then I'll try to spin around and take their back and like go for like a bow and arrow choke is what I've been using more than anything lately. It's my favorite choke right now in a gi, especially, is a bow and arrow or a rear naked choke. My sequence that I use on everybody, because I was talking to somebody about it yesterday, is pass to mount. Once I get in mount or side control, I threaten the Americana. When they try to turn into the Americana and kind of expose their back a little bit, I flatten their back out, chair sit up, take their back, and then either rear naked choke them or bow and arrow choke them is what I usually try to do. That's like my favorite sequence right now. But it depends on who I'm rolling against, you know. Some people are just better, and that's how it goes. Anyways, SPY is down there. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, semiconductors are up big this morning, guys. Up really big. In fact, look at how much semiconductors are up. So they're up really big. SPY at 584s, TSM at 203s. All right, chat. So again, the tech surge is happening. Yeah, we're checking AI really quick. Yeah, we got a key retail earnings. Oil moving. Bond yields are going down as investors are anticipating a Fed pause. Are they really, man? That's crazy if we do. Nobody's anticipating a freaking pause, bro. The probability is 92% currently that we are going to that we're going to cut 25 basis points. We only got a couple weeks left, but yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, we got a couple big stories to talk about today. Again, the tech surge is happening today, specifically around TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors, that had a good beat for earnings. Investors are piling into tech stocks again, with major names like Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia leading the charge. Optimism around AI development and cloud computing continues to bolster their valuations, as well as, again, the TSM earnings today definitely helped add some positive sympathy on tech and microchip stocks. But yeah, a lot of these companies are integrating AI into their core offerings, from productivity tools to consumer devices. Microsoft also had a recent push to further integrate AI into its Office suite, and it has investors buzzing. NVIDIA GPUs are becoming essential for AI infrastructure. Tech-heavy indexes like the NASDAQ 100 futures contracts are seeing strong gains, but questions about valuations remain here. And so people are worried that we're heading towards another tech bubble. And I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think there. We have some consumer sentiment wobbling ahead of these big earnings as well. Key retail earnings reports are on the horizon. Next week, we have Tesla. Recent figures show a drop in confidence as inflation remains sticky and wages struggle to keep up. Target, Walmart, Amazon are all set to report earnings soon, and investors are closely watching for signals on consumer health ahead of it. Because this is going to gauge like retail sentiment leading into the holiday season. When is Amazon earnings? Amazon earnings are on Halloween, October 31st. Thursday, in 2 weeks from now. Okay, got you. Recent figures show a drop in confidence as inflation remains. Yep. So investors are watching these again to see what consumer health is ahead of the holiday season. Any slowdown could have ripple effects across the entire retail sector, with potential impacts on big box stores, e-commerce giants, and small businesses alike. Oil prices are back on the rise. Brent crude nearing 95 a barrel. If we put up Brent crude here in oil. Wait, where's Brent crude? What's the symbol for Brent crude? Yeah. What I like about ChatGPT is I can open up multiple windows. BZ is what it is. I don't know. Maybe AI is wrong. So this is price per barrel, right? That doesn't look like $85. Is this wrong? Yeah. So a combination of production cuts by OPEC Plus and growing global demand, particularly from China. Energy stocks have been under pressure earlier in the year, now seeing strong rally. Exxon, Chevron, ConocoPhillips. Let's see, Exxon is here. Exxon's not really up that much. CVX is up a little bit. Chevron, Conoco, COP. It's up a little bit this morning. Are bond yields down? I always look at bond yields through TNX. Yeah, bond yields are down. Bond market taking a breather, yields dropping across the board. Investors pricing in the possibility that the Fed might pause its aggressive rate. Wait. How old is this? This data looks wrong. Yeah, I'm looking at Brent crude, CZ, or what is it? BZ. I'm looking at long-term charts here. Yeah. All right. Okay, so this seems more accurate. So the latest CPI report shows hotter than expected. Inflation still stubbornly above the Fed's target. Core CPI remains sticky, putting pressure on the Fed to potentially hike rate again before the end of the year. Do you guys think the Fed will hike rates again? I don't think so. I think that's very, very low probability. The only way we would see a Fed rate hike, and this is AI getting it wrong, again, from somebody that watches the economy regularly, the only way we're going to get a rate hike is if inflation data is crazy high. And payroll numbers were very high, but I think the likelihood of a rate hike is very low. Yeah, investors become aware of how long inflation might impact corporate profits in sectors like consumer discretionary. Rising costs could suppress spending. Oil prices are slumping. Brent crude hit $75 a barrel. So oil's been climbing up for the last few months. You know, it started this rise here in September. You know, so oil's been moving up, but it's recently started to dip. It's partly due to weakening global demand, particularly from China, and rising U.S. production. Energy stocks, which have enjoyed strong rally earlier in the year, are now facing headwinds. Exxon seeing declines, drop in oil prices, double-edged sword. So one thing that the Fed minutes report signaled last week was that the Federal Reserve's latest meeting minutes revealed a divided central bank. Some members are arguing for holding rates steady. Others suggest further hikes may be necessary to combat inflation. The market is trying to price in whether we've seen the peak of this tightening cycle. Yeah, see, that seems wrong as well. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Bubbles are good. Gevo, man, Gevo is still around, dude. I'm pretty shocked. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. One thing AI doesn't do well is gauge the market. From somebody that watches the market, here, look up the 5 biggest news stories of today. Sometimes you have to date it. 10/17, 24. Make sure they are specific to today and accurate. The last time you did this, you were wrong. In caps. Make the story about U.S. stocks. Bruce pooped in his crate. Oh no. We'll let him out. Okay, I'll get it. Just leave him out there. Right now? Yeah, Bruce pooped in his crate. It only happens rare. He must be, his stomach must hurt, to be honest. We let him out right before he went to sleep. But yeah, this is how you get it right. So tech stocks lost some steam, industrial, utility, material sectors. With potential future rate cuts, markets are keeping a close eye on how longer high rates will persist, impacting bank stocks and bonds. A lot of companies doing third quarter results. The Russell is nearing a technical breakout. Taiwan Semiconductors reported earnings 180 per share EPS driven by demand in the semiconductor sector. It had a notable revenue increase of 33.62%. 33.62% better revenue than last time. And so, again, TSM doing really, really well. If you look at TSM, this is one of the reasons the market's up so much. Here's TSM. So that's really one of the reasons the market is up so much. All right, chat. Yeah, TSM seems very strong. It's up to 204s. It's been dragging the market up. Yeah. And that's really, this earnings, this is an overseas company, so this earnings dropped at like 2 o'clock this morning, like super early this morning, really. So, yeah. TSM seems very strong. It's today a take profit day. Yeah, so I'm watching Nvidia still have legs. Yeah, Nvidia's moving up almost to lifetime highs. Like, look, so lifetime highs on Nvidia are 140.76. This morning it hit 140.30. So this yellow line right here is the lifetime highs for Nvidia. So Nvidia very, very, very close to lifetime highs. Nvidia could really do some damage here this morning, and so we'll see what that looks like. But yeah. That's what we're looking at right now so far. Whew. Dude, Bruce, man. Bruce pooped in his crate. Dude, I'm just ready for this freaking election to be over with, dude. I'm not even going to talk about any, like, you know. But I'm just ready for, I hate election years. I really do. Honestly, ironically enough, though, election years are some of the most probable, like, green years in markets, right? Like, if you want to know a year that's almost always green, so, like, in theory, I guess you could just blindly buy it. I'm not telling you to do this. I have no freaking idea. But in theory, you could just buy it at the beginning of the year, buy up S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, January, wait until November 1st, and then unload, and probably have some pretty good freaking trade results over that period of time, you know. Again, I'm not telling you to do that. There's always the chance. Let me look at the history and the stats of this. So again, Netflix is set to report its earnings after the close today. Analysts are expecting revenue of $9.77 billion, an increase of 14.38%, with an EPS of $5.12, showing 37.27% growth. Blackstone and Elevance Health also reported earnings this morning. Blackstone's revenue is anticipated $2.41 billion. Elevance is forecast at $43.3 billion. We got MMC and Travelers also reporting numbers. How many times in the last 100 years has the market moved down between January 1st to November 5th on election years? Give me the stats on the S&P, Dow 30, NASDAQ 100. Let's see what AI says. All right, so we do have some dates here. So yeah, we're getting some good data. Stick with me, right? So this is actually a really good report here. So TSM. Okay, so the NASDAQ 100 downtrends only about 20% of the time from January to November 5th, NASDAQ 100 downtrends about 20% of the time. The Dow 30 is about 30%, as well as the S&P is about 30%. All right, so the last 100 years, there have been 25 presidential elections. So, yeah, this is where AI really shines. So I had it list every election year. Yeah, look at this. This is actually pretty cool. Wait. So there's only been 5. Yeah, so there's only been literally 5 election years out of... How many is this? Let's count this up. So here's the data, right? So here's AI, okay? Just to show you guys what I'm looking at. And this is pretty cool. Check this out. All right, so here's every election year in the past 100 years. We put a check mark every time the market has moved down in an election year. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I think it's about 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So about 26 election years in the last 100 years. Out of 26, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had 5 years where the index funds have actually gone down out of 26. So that is better than 80% accuracy during election years of green action. So it's actually 80% plus more probable that we're going to be green during that January election year to November. And so interesting. So essentially, if you buy up index funds during election years, and this is it's a little late for this now, of course. And right now, the next election is in a couple weeks, so it's a little bit too late for this now. But if you buy up the markets in January of election years, you got an 80% or better chance that you're going to be green if you sell before January 5th. If you sell around January 5th, I mean, or November 5th. And again, I'm not telling you what to do. I can't guarantee this is all. This is AI stats, and so who freaking knows? But this looks right? It was a red year in 2020, red in 2008, red in 2000, 1972, 1932. That's it. The rest of the election years have been very green. Although one of the patterns that you can kind of see here adding up to this is that, you know, we do see higher frequency of red years during elections as time goes on. You know, like historically, there was a lot of time. Like we didn't really have that many red years at all. 1 in 32. The next one between 1932 and 1972, only 2 times did we have red election years in what? 50 years? This is a 50-year period of time. In 50 years, basically, 49 years. Only 2 red election years, which is interesting. But you can kind of see that likelihood increase as time goes on. Like we got this here, 2000, 2008, 2020. And so now it's becoming much more probable that we have red years. So I don't know. Again, in theory, it depends on which way you look at this. You could look at this like, hey, this is starting to be more common, and so maybe that makes this strategy less effective. Or you could also look at it just in the broad picture. Either way, interesting data. 80% of the time we are green during election years. Yeah, let's not talk about politics, guys. Yeah, I watch MMA, UFC. I train jiu-jitsu. That's what I do. Bro, it just feels like all people talk about is politics, dude. I'm just not into it. Sorry, guys. So my daughter went to jiu-jitsu yesterday, and she had a lot of fun, man. It was great. She did great. She really did. She did great. Yeah, so here we go. Chat. Here you got Max Holloway or Ilia Topuria. I mean, my heart is telling me Max, but my body is telling me Ilia. No, I think Ilia is probably gonna win. I think Ilia's good. He's much better. I think he talks so much smack, people hate him, but he's good. I think Ilia. I hope Max wins. I genuinely hope Max wins. Talk about watches before politics. Hey, I love watches. Downside bias will wreck you almost every time. I just think like guys, like, listen, man, and The Big Short romanticizes this. And I say this every freaking day, but it's true. The Big Short romanticizes this. Why should you try to predict something that is such a low probability bet? Right? Like, why try to predict something that's rare, that more so than the rarity of it is much harder to predict. The odds of success predicting a crash are so freaking low, yet everybody and their grandma wants to predict the next big market crash like Michael Burry, and they're always freaking wrong. They're always wrong, you know? And YouTubers sometimes are the worst with this. Finance YouTubers are out here telling everybody the market's going to crash every other week. And then they're telling me whenever I say this, they're saying, oh, John doesn't know what he's talking about. I've been completely right about market direction of the past 3 years straight. But yet, somehow, they justify it. Like, somehow they know more than me, and that it would have gone down if it wasn't for those pesky kids. You know, like, at a certain point, look, crashes are just incredibly difficult to predict. You're probably not going to predict it successfully. And if everybody thinks we're going to crash, usually the opposite happens in market history. And so why even try to predict crashes? I noticed a long time ago, the better bet was on the upside. Like, it's much easier to predict bullish action in markets over a 5 to 10 year period than it is to predict bearish action in markets. Much easier to predict long stuff than short-term stuff. Yeah, so again, on Barron's, talked about it. TSMC is the chip sector's hero. Taiwan Semiconductors has come to the rescue of a lot of U.S. semiconductor stocks. It's dragging everything up. NVIDIA's up today. It's at 584s. Just big movement here. Its earnings often seen as a, gauge of semiconductor demand is reassuring a lot of investors today about the AI intelligence trade, but it's a big reminder that the U.S. tech sector is maybe a little bit too reliant on TSM. Their third quarter profit crushed it, and while the company raised its revenue guidance for the year, and that's another reason that they're up so much, that should be enough to help microchip stocks like NVIDIA, maybe break all-time highs. So yeah, we'll see what happens. The big risk with TSM, though, and one of the potential causes of crashes is this, okay? From a geopolitical perspective, TSM is only headquartered about 100 miles away from China. It is one of the single most crucial suppliers to the U.S. tech industry, and given the tension, it could be a rough situation. So TSMC is building factories in Arizona with its initial production expected next year. However, it won't be producing its current most advanced chips on American soil until 2028. And they're saying that is the earliest date it's going to hit that number. By the earliest date, by which time they could be outdated, even with billions of dollars worth of subsidies. The U.S. only aims to have about 20% share of the global leading edge chip production by the end of the decade, compared with a 37% share of semiconductor manufacturing that we were doing in 1990. In short, TSMC's results are a good boost for the market, but long term there's exposure, and I think that's true. That's a risk. So yeah. There are traders that are wrong 80% of the time and make a killing 20%. Yeah, but people. Yeah, but again, why try to make money on something that only happens 20% of the time? You know, like I get it. People are gonna say, "Oh, good risk reward." Sure, but why even target that? You know, like I get it. Politics blinds people in terms of market action. Like it really does. It causes people to simply miss out on. If you are super biased on either side, you know, it's really hard to look at things objectively and say, hey, market might go up here. You know, I think that's very difficult. And so people just miss out on some of the biggest gains, and then they get emotional about that. They know they missed out on it, but then they start distrusting everything because it's a more comfortable situation for them. So they're like, oh, I don't trust anything. The numbers are wrong. You know, it's like, maybe so, but who cares at this point? The market's going up. I think people want to be contrarian. I think people really want to be contrarian. And I think people really want to think that they know something that nobody else knows. And so I think it's very human nature like. So people want to believe that they know something that nobody else knows, that they know a secret in the market, and that the market's really going to crash and nobody knows about it, guys. And you and Steve knows it, chat. You know, Jared over here knows it. He knows the market's going to crash and nobody else knows because he's the market whisperer, you know. But again, people wanting to have that type of thing causes them to miss out on the most probable outcome of markets, which is markets are going to go up long term. Very most predictable thing. When I look at markets and I'm like, hey, do I want to try to pick out and identify and isolate the times where the market goes down? What, 1 out of 5 years? No. Low edge. You know, 1 out of 5 is not the, you know. Or do I want to try to ride the gains that the market is making regularly on the upside? 4 out of 5 years. I'd rather take the gains, sir. It's easier to predict. It's 80% more probable, you know. Yeah. And that should be easy money. It's the easiest money in markets. Well, the Fed almost never says that. Mostly people think that the market's going to crash based off of that. So every major FOMC meeting, somebody's in here telling me the market crash is about to happen. Dun, dun, dun. And then the market ends up ripping up on it. And then they start crying about that, you know, because it's just not what they wanted to happen. In the end, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. The market's full of justified gamblers. A lot of people gambling in markets. If they didn't have stock or futures accounts, they would be out here putting it all on red and roulette at the casino, you know. Who? All right, chat. Did y'all hear about the guy from One Direction, Liam Payne? Rest in peace, man. Obviously, I'm not really I never really listened to his music, but it sounds horrible, dude. What happened to him? Yeah, trading's definitely about limiting wrongs. Yeah, data's dropping at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We got about 35 minutes left. Assuming bad data is now bad for markets. That's kind of what we've seen. We've mostly seen good is good and bad is bad scenario recently, you know. And again, we've been shorting markets. I think we're down a little bit on the day right now. So we are short in markets right now. We've been trying to take advantage of this longer term trend. We got 3 contracts now. We're going to see if we can build it up. But this is trading on Top Step X, which is, again, I'm going to say this always, this is the single biggest edge in funded accounts right now on Top Step X. 0 commissions, no PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, basically the QQQ price action, currencies, gold, no PDT restrictions. And again, Top Step has some of the best rules in the game for funded accounts. They give you a demo. The base one, you get 50K for the demo. If you can make 3K in profit on the 50K demo without losing 2K first, a 3-to-2 ratio, reasonable ratio, then they fund you 50K, 90% split. And again, the biggest edge is that there's no commissions, right? Like, look at all this stuff. I'm down a little bit on the day, but that's all right. 0 commissions, guys. Literally 0 commissions. 74 cents in fees per trade, a tiny amount of fees. Literally, I can trade micro contracts, trade tiny size, and yeah, I can trade micro contracts, trade tiny size, and take these small little base hits. And that's a powerful thing. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. Again, Top Step has literally some of the best rules in the game in funding. And so a great way to learn how to day trade. You still have some pressure. You're still risking something, but you're not risking, you know, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 yourself, like a lot of day traders have to do. If you want to day trade stocks actively enough, you're going to need 25 grand or more to be able to actively day trade stocks with a margin account. It's just not going to work. Futures market, you can do it for cheap, and Top Step, again, is the way to do it. Get your feet wet for cheap. Most day traders lose. I think that's the same here. Most day traders are going to lose, but this is a lot cheaper. Check out the link right there. Remember, they are an affiliate / sponsor of mine. I am biased. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Guys, this is a 50K funded account. We are shorting the market right now with 3 micro contracts. What was the situation the years that we had dumps? Well, usually something went on. Like 2020. Obviously, 2020 was 2020. The whole market, the supply chain got disrupted is what happened there, really. You know, 2008 was 2008. Yeah. 2000 was 2000, .com crash / bubble. Yeah, the problem is a lot of people are betting on market crashes just because AI is up so much, right? So just purely because AI is up so much, people are acting like the market has to crash just on AI strength. And that's just not true. It's just not true. Just because something's up big does not mean it has to necessarily go back down. Just because something goes up doesn't mean it goes back down. And in fact, most blue chip healthy companies never go back down. If you look at Apple, it has not gone back down since it went up, you know? So if it's genuinely a healthy company, and that's arguable, the PE ratios are high for NVIDIA and other microchip companies. So PE ratios are very high on these companies as well. Oh, we do have the ECB rate decision in 15 minutes as well. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff happening today, to be honest. A bunch of stuff. Yeah, there's TSM. We got NVIDIA right here on the right. I'm probably going to cut this. I think the whole market might be rangy leading into this report. We're going to wait, I guess. See if we get a little breakdown here. Let me get out the way. Put myself up here. There we go. Look at TSM still testing highs. I think that's one of the reasons we're getting dragged up right now. Look at TSM. Nvidia is getting pretty close to its lifetime highs. I'm going to cut this and just get out. Again, Nvidia is getting very close to its all-time highs. We'll come back to this. SPY still trying, though. Maybe we should trade the E-mini a little bit more. Yeah, so yeah, I just haven't been having the best results day trading recently, man. Like, day trading's been tough, I think. All I can really do is look for ranges and trends now, I think, at this point. I think recently the market's been moving in really obvious trends. And so I think my reversal strategy just hasn't been it lately. Nvidia breaking highs today. Yeah, I think so as well. That's really the reason I exited that long trade out, or that short trade I was just in, because Nvidia is very close to lifetime highs. Very, very close to lifetime highs. And so with that, there's risk there. Yeah, I'm just trying to scale down as small as I can during these last few days, you know. Yeah, so we're watching markets, guys. We got 30 minutes left. 30 minutes left. Amazon's trying to. So I know Robinhood that had their conference yesterday, their big conference. Hey, what's up, Dean? Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just excited we have a freaking news day, guys. It has been so freaking boring for me over here. Just nothing has been going on. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode. Nothing has been going on. It's been so freaking boring for me the last, like, week. You know, for whatever reason, this month they consolidated all the economic reports, literally all of them, to the last month of the last day, not just the last days of the month, but like the last 5 days of October. We have every major economic report you could freaking think of. Again, I'm going to go over this again. Not only do we have a bunch of big earnings like Amazon, Apple, Meta, all kind of stuff going on, but next week's pretty slow as well, in all honesty. Next week's pretty slow. Let me see. Didn't we have some... Yeah. All right, chat. Yeah, so TSM, obviously a huge report. SPY bouncing right at the volume weighted average price. Yeah. So, I forgot to show you guys. Okay, so yeah, this is basically what we got going on. So, the last 5 days of October, like literal Halloween week, this is what we got, right? Like, listen to this stuff. So, Monday actually is kind of slow. So, Monday the 21st, oh, no, that's wrong. The 28th is slow. Tuesday, though, we've got the good trades balance, the Case-Shiller House Price Index. We've got CB Consumer Confidence and the JOLTS report, Tuesday the 28th, or Tuesday the 29th. All right, Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm employment change, GDP data expected at 3%. So GDP data and ADP non-farm employment data, and I'm pretty sure we also have some earnings that drop. Let me see. So earnings-wise, the end of this month, we got McDonald's earnings on Monday, on semi-earnings on Tuesday, or on Monday, Centerpoint Energy on Monday morning. Monday evening, we got Ford, Transocean, Brown & Brown. Tuesday, we've got SoFi, BP, Pfizer, Enterprise, Global Payments. Tuesday evening, sheesh, man. Tuesday evening, we got AMD, Google, Snapchat, Visa. So we're going to be streaming literally so much the last 5 days of this month. So Tuesday evening on the 29th, bunch of big earnings, AMD, Google, Snapchat. Wednesday, again, we've got GDP data, non-farm employment change data, basically prelim payroll data, Mexican GDP data, European GDP data also coming out on the 29th, or on the 30th on Wednesday. And then earnings-wise, Wednesday, we've got Microsoft, Meta, Supermicro Semiconductors, Wednesday evening, Coinbase, Wednesday evening. Thursday, we have PCE data. So the big inflation report is Thursday. Chicago PMI data. And then in the morning, we've got Shopify, Uber. And then in the evening on Thursday, we've got Amazon, Apple, Intel. Dude, I hate it when they do earnings like this, where they combine all the big earnings reports, consolidate it to one freaking day. Why? But yeah, Thursday, we got Amazon, Apple, Intel, Block, Carvana earnings. So just so much stuff. And then Friday that week on November 1st, like 4 days, or a couple days before the election, we've got non-farm payrolls, unemployment data, ISM manufacturing, PMI reports. So just so much stuff coming out. Market is going down. It'll be scary for investors. Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps saying that. Yeah, so we got the ECB rate decision in like 7 minutes. Yeah, no, TSM earnings were great. It's up to 205, almost 206 right now. It's been what's dragging the market up. Man making fun of crash thesis tries shorting a vertical market. Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between me trying to take like 15 cents a share on something and thinking the market is going to have some parabolic drop. You know, again, like, it's really easy to critique after a trade, right? And again, what that shows is that you're just kind of emotional about what I said about crashes. And that's okay. Like, I'm not attacking anybody when I tell people that. And maybe we do crash. Right? But the reality of it is you have to think about what the true edge is, you know? And I think sometimes people might take personally what I say because they know what I'm saying is kind of accurate. They know they might be over predicting crashes. They know a lot of them have missed out on the crazy big gains that the market's given us over the past 3, 4, 5 years. Maybe not 3, over the last 3 years, a lot of people missed out on that. And so in turn, they might, you know, But you don't have to critique my trades just because, you know, I said we don't have to crash. It's all right. Again, Tesla has been sideways for days too. I'm really curious about what Tesla does today on everything as well. I'm wondering, we got 21 minutes, chat. What's your opinion on Warren Buffett's current market position? Isn't he out of a lot of stuff? Playing earnings is worse than roulette. 100% it is. I don't know about worse. I think it's more predictable if you predict it right, but I think predicting earnings. Right, 100%. People predict crash coming every freaking year, man. And again, like, y'all wonder why I'm so scorned on, I'm not even scorned on crashes, but if you wonder, maybe I'm emotional about it, I don't know. But if you wonder why I'm always kind of critiquing the crash predictors, it's because they come out every freaking year. Every major economic report, every year, everybody's screaming the market's going to crash, right? And it's like at a certain point, I just kind of look at the actual results of their predictions and wrong. And so at a certain point, I have to just be like, yo, saying that's probably wrong. I don't know. Again, we could crash. I'm not even going to say that's wrong. What I'm saying is that you want to get yourself out of this really biased viewpoint where you're thinking that the market is always in a bad, like, especially like what happens is if somebody on the left achieves the office, right? The presidential office, you know, people have so much bias politically, you know, and I'm very neutral politically. I don't care about any of it, right? But people have so much bias politically that if somebody on the left gets office, then immediately that person just acts like everything is the end of the freaking world. And they miss out on opportunity is the easiest way to put it. And again, I'm not biased. I'm not against you. I'm not for you. I'm just kind of neutral. I'm just kind of even. And so, really, no matter who achieves office, the market's very likely. Again, we did the odds earlier with AI. Over 80% of the time, the market's going to be green during the election year. And so, you know. Yeah, the robot thing is something I'm super interested in. I grew up watching movies like Bicentennial Man. Great movie. Robin Williams, great movie. Did you like the Robotaxi event? I'm not going to say I liked it. I didn't really like it or dislike it. I was curious about all of it. My problem, like, I think it all looks cool. The real question is when is that stuff actually going to come out? Because Elon can show examples of all this different stuff, but the real genuine question is when does it actually drop? Because he could say whatever he wants. I could say I'm going to come out with my own crystal ball tomorrow, but if it doesn't come out tomorrow and it instead comes out in 10 years, then what does it freaking matter right now? You know, that's kind of my take on it. It's like, yeah, that stuff's cool. I like the robots. People are arguing that the robots didn't exist and that people were just speaking through microphones. You know, and I think the stuff looks really cool. But the real question is, when does that stuff come out? And if it comes out in 10 years, it doesn't matter. That's too far away to make any short-term impact on stocks. Yeah, production is slow. Oh, yeah, so the ECB rate decision is coming out very soon in about a minute and a half, chat. The ECB rate decision is dropping soon. All right, so the ECB rate decision is then coming in about a minute. All right, look at the SPY rip up. It's at 585s. Again, I really wondered what NVIDIA is going to do. TSM just broke over 206s. Again, the European Central Bank is expecting a 25 basis point cut. A 25 basis point cut. So the ECB is expecting a 25 basis point cut. You are cynical on Elon's new stuff? Not necessarily. Like, I like it all. I think it's all really cool. The only thing I'm cynical about is the time frame of it. Like, I am understandably wondering how long it's going to take him to come out. He announced the Cybertruck in 2019. It didn't drop until late 23, 4 years later. So that's a long time. All right, guys, here's the European rate decision. Here goes the European rate decision. Yeah, here we go. Here's the European rate decision, and there it is. We ended up showing a pause in rates. Or no, I'm sorry. We ended up showing 25 basis point cut in rates. Sorry. 25 basis point rate cut by the ECB. ECB did a 25 basis point rate cut. So again, 25 basis point rate cut by the ECB. European Central Bank cut rates 25 basis points. Put this up on screen. 25 basis point cut was what was expected. Yeah. A pizza is 20 pounds. Or what is that, euros? Yeah, I mean, listen, inflation is the biggest negative influence over people right now. Over the past 5 years, it's inflation, which is really driven by a lot of things, supply restraints over the last 5 years. You know, all the aggressive economic stimulus that we've gotten over the past 5 years. It's all coming to a head here, and now inflation has spiked up. And even though inflation has slowed, it's still, people are still living with those higher prices that are the result of inflation over the past 3 years. Right, the past 3 to 4 year inflation numbers have caused prices to just be substantially higher than they were 8, 9 years ago. And that's really what people are unhappy about. People are looking at prices, how much they're paying on things, and they're saying, hey, is this sustainable? And it's not. And so again, the ECB deposit cut 25 basis points to 3.25. As expected, will keep policy rates sufficiently restricted for as long as necessary, is what they're saying. But yeah. Yeah, like I've been eating much better in the past few years. Yeah. All right, guys, we got 1,100 people watching live. Y'all do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. I'm just glad we got some economic reports dropping in 12 minutes here. It's been some time, man. It's been boring. Bro, I'm too addicted to jiu-jitsu right now to the point where my ears are getting a little cauliflowery. They're swollen. Do we have a UFC fight this weekend? All right, guys. Hey, we got 11 minutes left. This timer's a little bit early. SPY broke highs again. This is probably the lifetime highs. Yeah, 585.27. So we are over lifetime high. So if we open up over this level right here, right where we're at now is the all-time highs for the SPY. If we open up and break that level after the opening bell, then we're breaking lifetime highs. We'll see. Okay, so we do have a UFC fight this weekend. That'll be a good fight. Anthony Hernandez versus Michael Pereira. The problem is there's so many freaking UFC cards now. Like, I don't even watch most of them anymore. You know? Like, I don't tune in to watch it most of the time. Like, most of the time, like, I only watch... Like, and I love MMA, right? But I'm not watching most of these fights. There's just too many of them at this point in time. How about a Ezekiel? Ezekiels are cool. They're just hard to hit on people. Like, I don't think I've ever tapped to an Ezekiel choke. You know? I might have. I don't know. I think maybe... Actually, I've rolled with some brown belts, and they are different. And so I think I've definitely tapped to a punch choke. I think I might have tapped to a punch choke yesterday, which is like a variation of an Ezekiel. And Ezekiels can work. Again, they work if you're bigger than the other person, right? Like, so the person that got me with one, he's a much bigger guy, much stronger guy, much longer, and he's just better than me for sure. But you know, they work if you got somebody bigger than you. If somebody's my size, they're not hitting an Ezekiel on me. It's just gonna be really hard. Like, I could usually push their hand out the way, tuck my chin, push it out the way, and then do something else afterwards. So it's gonna be hard. So yeah, ECB did 25 basis point cut. We also have the big jobless claims number coming out. Again, jobless claims, unemployment filings expected to show up at 241,000. Retail sales expected at 0.3% month to month. Philly Fed index expected at 4.2%. So it's a gauge on economic activity here. So today we got the Philly Fed Index, retail sales, jobless claims, unemployment filings. Retail sales is probably the biggest report. It's expected at 0.3% month to month. Jake Paul versus Tyson. Paul's going to win. I don't want him to win. I say this and people get emotional, but look up what confirmation bias is. Confirmation bias means you overestimate the likelihood of something that you want to happen happening. And again, a lot of people, for whatever reason, think that Jake Paul is going to get beat up by Tyson. Tyson's 60 years old, man. He is just not going to, he's not going to win. He's, number one, cardio. He's, you know why you only see 30-second clips of him hitting the bags and stuff like that is because that's all he's got. After 30 seconds, he's done, right? If you think Jake can't last 30 seconds with a 60-year-old man, of course he can. Like, again, I feel bad for Tyson. Tyson's going to get beat up, and I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I try to take emotion out of it. Like, I don't care what I want to happen. I wanted O'Malley to beat Merab. But leading up to the O'Malley fight, I told everybody, hey, I think Merab's going to throw O'Malley around. And he absolutely did. Like, I might want something to happen, but I don't use that in making predictions. And ironically, MMA betting are the only sport that I've really been good at betting on. And I'm not really a big bettor. I haven't bet on anything in sports in years. But when I did, I actually had pretty good results betting on MMA. I hope you're wrong. Yeah, for sure. I hope I'm wrong too. Love you. Love you, buddy. Have a good day, dude. Hey, you feeling okay? I love you, dude. All right, you're gonna have a good day, right? That's right, man. All right. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to get into this. I'll talk about this all day. But Tyson is not. I hope I'm wrong, but it's just so improbable. Like, people, like, listen, guys. I roll with a lot of people, right? Like, I train jiu-jitsu regularly, and while it's a different sport, I can roll. If I roll against a blue belt or a purple belt, and they're under 40, I'm getting destroyed most of the time, right? But if they're 65, 70, and they're a blue belt, they're getting thrown around. You know, there's a difference, man. There's a difference. And I believe every old man wants to believe they still got it. I get it. I really do. I understand. If I was 60 years old, I'd want to believe Tyson still got it too. But there's age impacts you, right? You slow down, your chin goes, your power goes more than anything. Or your power actually is one of the last things to go. But your speed definitely slows. Your speed slows down. Your endurance slows down dramatically. It's just super improbable. Jake Paul's in the prime of his life. Like, I hate the dude. I don't like him at all. I think he's terrible for the world. But he's actually a decent boxer. I'm not saying he's great, but he could probably handle a 60-year-old man, you know. Anyways. Probably Jonathan. Probably. Jonathan said, would a 60-year-old black belt beat you? Almost certainly. Yeah, I mean, I roll with a 60-year-old black belt regularly. I've only finished him once in about 15 rolls. I've only called him once and tapped him out once. So, anyways, guys, we got 4 minutes left before retail sales, jobless claims, Philly Fed Index. A massive report today, guys. A massive report. We got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Yeah. All right, chat. Here we go. Tesla down to 221. Again, the big story of the day is TSM. Taiwan Semiconductors has pushed up dramatically today on good earnings, good revenue guidance is what TSM is up. You can see TSM on the right side. That has caused sympathy movements in NVIDIA, the SPY, everything else which has been breaking lifetime highs. I'm going to put gold up on the chart here. Here's gold. We got about 1,500 viewers. Thanks so much for watching my stream today. I'm just glad we got some economic reports. We'll talk about the Tyson thing in a little bit and MMA in a little bit if you guys want to, but we're going to cover TSM. We got 3 minutes left. This timer's actually a little bit early. We really have about 3 minutes left. So I'm going to pause this and try to make this as accurate as I can. All right, we got about 2.5 minutes left. I'm going to pause this right here at 1:30, and I'm going to start it up again when we have about 1:30 left so that it's the most accurate. But yeah, again, retail sales expected at 0.3%. Again, the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, the Philly Fed Index is what it's called. Gauge on manufacturing, it's expected to go up. So it's expecting a little bit more strength in manufacturing for October relative to the last one was 1.7. This one they're expecting 4.2. Again, jobless claims is how many people are filing for unemployment week to week. It's expected at 241,000, so a decrease week to week. The last one showed up at 258,000. And so the last one was higher than this one. They're expecting less unemployment filings week to week at 241, and we'll see what that looks like. Again, we also have retail sales expecting 0.3%. Retail sales gauges the change in the value of sales at the retail level across the country. So how much, sales value at 0.3%. All right, guys, so this is starting right about now. So this timer should be pretty accurate. Might be a little bit late now, but it's all right. We got exactly 1.5 minutes left. We got 1,600 people here watching. Thanks so much. Now, TSM earnings came out at like 2 a.m. today because they're an overseas company. NVIDIA's biggest customers are close. Yeah, hey, thanks, V. What's up, V? Hope you're doing well, bro. Yeah, we got retail sales at 8:30. Again, there's gold. I'm going to put the SPY up, the Q up. Here's the NASDAQ 100 chart on the right. All right, we got about 1 minute left, chat, about 1 minute. This is the biggest data report of the week, really, today. So we got about 1 minute left. Are you going to be streaming Netflix earnings? Netflix earnings, nobody has to stream them, Tommy. So Netflix earnings are a video that drops. So Netflix for their earnings call just drops a video file. So it just drops a video file. So Netflix earnings, we might cover the actual earnings report, but in terms of like the earnings call, no, because you could just go to Netflix Investor Relations website and click on the video and watch it after it drops. All right, Chad, here we go. And I'm going to mute this. We got 5 seconds. Here we go, guys. And there's the time. Retail sales, 0.4% retail sales, higher than expected retail sales than expected, 0.4% versus 0.3% expected. Core retail sales showed higher than expected as well. Jobless claims showed up exactly as expected at 241,000. So neutral jobless claims, higher than expected retail sales at 0.4% versus 0.3% expected. Core retail sales increased as well. They showed up at, where did they go? Where'd they go? Yeah, core retail sales increased as well. They showed up at 0.5% versus 0.1%. And the Philly Fed Index showed a much stronger manufacturing sector than expected. You can kind of see gold is going down here. But if you look at the QQQ, you look at the SPY, you look at the NASDAQ, they're both up a little bit on this report, but they are retracing. But again, Philly Fed Index, much stronger manufacturing sector. Retail sales, much higher than expected retail sales than expected at 0.4% versus 0.3% for base. But the core retail sales were much higher than expected. The base was kind of flat, a little bit better though. But core retail sales showed 0.5 versus 0.1%. So much better than expected core retail sales, which excludes food and energy prices. And so, yeah, much better than expected retail sales here, much higher than expected. A little bit more fearing of inflation, though, I would say this is. We're going to put this up on screen. They probably fear inflation a little bit more with higher retail sales. So there's the base retail sales. We're going to put the core retail sales in as well, again at 0.5% versus 0.1% expected. Last time was 0.1% also. And then, again, the Philly Fed Index showed we got retail sales, core retail sales, and then jobless claims 241 versus 260 roughly expected. So, again, overall, mostly positive here, mostly positive. I'm showing 260 for expected. I was showing 241. Last time was 260. So this is actually wrong. Yeah. So here's the report right here, Chad. Here's the report. Again, so the question is, does this make the market fear the economy more now and economic growth because of inflation fears? Does the market fear inflation more in a heavier level now? Is the real question. I don't know, Chad. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the market fears inflation now? Or do you guys think that this is just optimistic because of better economic reports? What do you guys think? Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step X. So we are going to be day trading futures live. And if you've ever wanted to learn how to day trade, do not risk your thousands of dollars of your own money. You're almost certainly going to lose your own account. If you fund your account, 90% of day traders lose money. It makes absolutely no sense to risk that much money in the beginning. If you want to day trade stocks, you're going to need 25, 30 grand in a margin account to do so actively. It makes no sense. Instead, Top Step is the most legit funded program in the world. They give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo. If you pass the test, they fund you. And so your risk is limited to the only monthly subscription, which the base one is only $49 a month. They give you a demo. It's $49 a month monthly subscription. If you can make $3K in profit on a $50K demo without losing $2K first, a 3-to-2 reasonable ratio, they fund you $50K, 90% split. So the 90% split is similar to funding yourself. Once you're funded, you can build up profit, withdraw, and fund your own account if you want. But if you fail, which is 90% of day traders, you only lose the monthly subscription, which is $49. It's limited risk, similar split to what you would do funding yourself. And they paid out over $40 million to their traders. They fund thousands of traders. Great way to learn how to day trade. You still have some pressure. You're still risking something. Not nearly the amount you're risking funding your own account most of the time. And in the futures market, you could day trade no PDT rule. You could day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. A lot of pro Forex traders should be trading futures. And the biggest edge in funding right now is Top Step X because there's literally zero commissions. I'm down a little bit on the day. Zero commissions. If I'm trading micro contracts, only 74 cents in fees per trade. A tiny amount. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. They pay me money. And so definitely top 3 most biased trader ever. But if you want to check it out, there's the link. I appreciate the love. And yeah, we'll see what we get, guys. We're going to be day trading a little bit live later. No, we covered all the Fed data, dude. Like, we covered all of it. We covered it faster than everybody else as well. And so you better believe we're going to do a little pluggy plug right afterwards. But no, we covered jobless claims. Again, jobless claims, continuing claims is at 1.867 million. So a little bit higher than expected continuing claims. But regular jobless claims, as expected, lower than last time. So a little bit better economic growth there week to week. Last jobless claims report, we showed 260. This one, we showed 241. So we did have a decrease in unemployment filings week to week. Philly Fed Index, again, much higher than expected, much stronger manufacturing sector, according to the Philly Fed Index. Retail sales, 0.4% versus 0.3%, kind of flat, but a little bit stronger retail sales than expected. And then the core retail sales showed 0.5% versus 0.1% expected. So a little bit stronger core retail sales than expected. Now, we're down a little bit on this report so far. So again, we are down a little bit on this report so far, and we'll see if we get an increase. Chat, we'll see if we get an increase. I don't know. I showed maybe if it was 260 expected, then this was much better than expected. Let me see. Let me look at a different source. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so you were actually correct in terms of jobless claims. So jobless claims were much better than expected then. I'll change this. You're correct. Jobless claims much better than expected. At 240 versus 260. So much less people filing for unemployment week to week is what that means. And again, we cover this fast. People can say whatever they want. The reason we get over 1,000 people live at 8:30 is because we cover this very, very quickly. And so if you want a one-stop shop where we cover every major economic report live on the stream, that's why people tune in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love. And yeah, let's keep the growth up, chat. All right, market's starting to turn back up to 495.50s here. The Doomers lose again, shocker. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes, man. Again, I dub it political bias, but maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Why do you guys think crashes are overpredicted in markets? Again, I dub it just political bias, especially during election years when you got somebody saying, hey, you know, it's the end of the world, cough, cough, elect our guy, cough, cough, cough. You know, a lot of biases out there. People make a huge part of their identity politics, and so I just avoid that. But I always assume, and maybe I'm wrong in this assumption, I always assume that bias and thinking everything's always the doom and gloom end of the world scenario, like the small percentage of people that behave that way, I just assume it's political bias. And I think deep down, the people doing it kind of know a lot of it is, right? But in the end, the big risk right now is from a too strong of an economy, not too weak of an economy. The SPY just broke highs. Again, it's at 585.50s. The Q up to 495.60s. The NASDAQ pumping up a little bit as well at 541 right now for the NASDAQ, 541. So it's easy to predict crashes because most people are upset and not doing well. That's probably true. What's up, Sean? Yeah. It's hard not to see some sort of soft or hard landing soon. I mean, but yeah, but we're gonna see one or the other, right? Like, because either having a soft landing or a recession is gonna happen, right? We're gonna land some way, and you know, soft landing, just to put this into perspective, guys, means we raise interest rates aggressive enough to keep inflation down without entering a recession. That's what a soft landing is. Pushing rates up high enough to discourage inflation and bring inflation down without necessarily hitting a recession, right? A hard landing is pushing interest rates up to a point in which we combat inflation and push inflation down, but at the consequence of us actually going into a recession. That's what a hard landing means. And so I'm not sure I understand the comment, Rick, because one of those two, we're either going to hit a recession or we're not going to. Like, it's essentially like you saying, hey, we're either going to hit a recession or we're not going to hit a recession is basically what you're saying. And of course, one of those things is going to happen. We're either not going to hit a recession or we are going to hit a recession. We have to do one of those things. There's no other option there. Self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe. Majority of people are doing well, 100%. I think the real reason we get people pushing for low rates, right? I think this is a nuance of it as well, in which people push for this low interest rate environment. We're gonna get ready to start day trading too. People push for this low interest rate environment because their lenders, like mortgage brokers, real estate agents, a lot of those guys really want rates to go down because their their business benefits massively from it, right? So a lot of those guys want rates to go down because they're gonna profit by rates going down, and so one of the ways they might be able to talk people into cutting rates is talk about how terrible everything is. Like, if you want interest rates to go down, how do you behave? The way you behave is by saying, hey guys, look at how horrible it is. Lower rates, cough, 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 lower rates so I can profit from it, right? If you're a mortgage broker, you want rates to go down, you're going to get more business. A lot of those guys are struggling. Like, a lot of mortgage brokers genuinely struggling, right? Like, they did super well in 2021 in the super low interest rate environment and the quantitative easing environment and all that stuff of 2021. But then the check came in the following years and interest rates went from 2.5%, 3% up to 6, 7, 8%, 10% if you're talking about financing cars. And so their business fell off a cliff in those situations. They stopped getting tons of business, and you better believe a lot of them are desperate for rates to go back down. But we can't pander to them. We can't pander to real estate agents as well. As a licensed real estate agent, my license might be inactive, I think, right now. But as an agent, most realtors certainly want rates to go down because that's when real estate agents, lenders thrive, is in low interest rate environments. The problem, though, is that it's going to be on the backs of everybody else, because the consequence of maintaining another low interest rate environment is inflation. You better believe we're going to get some inflation from that. And so, I don't know. I was always against rate cuts, personally. And again, I just, you can make what you make salary-wise, or, however much you make a year. Inflation should scare everybody. Whether you make $30K a year, or $300K a year, or $3 million a year, inflation should scare everybody. Especially if you're self-employed. Inflation is the biggest risk to self-employed people. Why? Because people that are working salaries in companies, as inflation rises, their salary might get risen because of it, right? Where if you're operating businesses, you don't necessarily get a bigger salary bump from inflation rising either. And so that's a problem, and that should scare everybody, because it doesn't matter whether you make 30K or 300K, inflation's going to negatively impact you in some way. Yeah, I would rather us enter a recession. Is the Dunning-Kruger effect? What is? For me, it seems like there's a whole lot of debt, and with prices staying stagnant, going up, and people are bound to start being cut off from credit, it just seems unsustainable. Yeah, well, there's debt from inflation, though. People have to take on more debt because everything's expensive. 8, 9% 2 months ago. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, never buy new unless you got FU money. 100%. I'm like a broken record about that. But again, the reality of it is everybody wants to look rich. They don't necessarily want to be rich. They just want to look rich. And I guess, to be honest, if you're really boiling it down to it, it depends on how old you are, right? Like, the way I look at it, if I'm 20 years old, I don't care about being rich as much. I just want to look rich, because looking rich does what? It gets girls, right? So if I'm like in my early 20s, there's a different priority I would say I have. If I'm 30 something, I'm trying to build a nest egg of sustainability throughout life where I don't have to worry. And so there's just different priorities. And so I get it. Live your life. Look, I believe you should save money, but I also think you want to live your life and enjoy things, and if you really love cars, and, there's a new car that you really, really like, that you really, really love, and it's going to make you that happy, buy it. I'm okay with that, But if you just want any car and you're not really into cars, you just need transportation. Do not buy a freaking brand new car. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It's you're locking yourself into long-term debt on something that's going to depreciate massively. So, and again, I'm not going to go into it. We talk about that too much. Carol behind you, bro. Carol can hear me. Carol probably agree with me. Bro, Carol spends more money than anybody. I love her, but she definitely spends money. I mean, make it 100% return a year. Make it 100% a year is like skyscraper stuff. Extremely easy, but you can't make the plays. It's not easy at all, right? The problem is that you could make 100% a year if you risk your entire portfolio. Right? Like, that's why it's so easy to do on paper, because the risk means nothing to you. You can risk 100% of your portfolio to try to make 100% and, occasionally get away with it. There's also a bias there where you're not looking at the times you failed because it doesn't exist, and you can reset your demo account pretty easily. And so, if you keep pushing and keep pushing, it's the martingale boiled down to it. Right? So, let's say you start buying something here, and then let's say it keeps going down, and so you double your size here, right? Most of the time, right, I would say like 6 out of 7 out of 8 times, you're gonna go up and you're gonna make money on the trade. Your average price would be like here. You're gonna make money on the trade most of the time. And so what happens is that blinds people into thinking that they somehow have this legitimate system, when really they're just adding to losses. But eventually you're not going to get this scenario, right? Eventually you're going to get something in which you buy it here, it dips more, you buy more here, and it goes something like this, right? And then when this happens, everything's gone, but your accuracy is still going to be high, but it means nothing, right? So in this situation, you're still going to make money most of the time, right? 5 out of 6 out of 7 times, you're going to be green. And so if you haven't hit that big downward pressure yet in one of these trades, you might think you've got some super special, super great system. I meet people all the time that think that you could just earn, 10% a day, 15% a day, 20% of the day over and over again. And they just don't understand, right? Like, they just haven't had the last example of this happening. Like, they've had this happen where they've added to it and made money, and then maybe bought here, added to it down here and made money, right? And that's happened over and over again, into where they haven't had what is inevitably going to happen yet. And so again, they're walking around like they're king-ish. They think they've got the best system ever, and that everybody else is suckers because they just don't understand, and like all this dumb stuff. But the reality is they just haven't been caught in that yet. And it'll happen. And maybe you might win 10 times or more before that happens. But you better believe it's going to happen. And so eventually everything goes away, and the whole system gets destroyed. And that's the problem. And that's why a lot of people walk around thinking that they've got a better system or that trading is easier than it is. They're just adding to losses most of the time. Martingale roulette strategy says you double your size each bet. You bet $10, you lose. You bet $20, you lose. You bet 40, you lose. You bet 80, you lose. You bet 160, you win. Boom, you make money, right? But eventually you're gonna lose every time in a row, and when you do, you're gonna lose everything. It's not gonna be. It's only gonna be about 10%, 20% of the time. Maybe less, really, but when it happens, everything's bye-bye, and that's the big mistake a lot of people make in trading specifically, is that exact thing, boiled down to trading. That's what happens. Netflix is dropping after 4 p.m. What is a realistic percentage a year in what? In what kind of trading? Yeah, it depends on what kind of trading y'all are talking about. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step funded program in futures. Day trade with me, chat. I'm going to short this. I'm going to take 2 contracts. Again, you can kind of see it's very similar to day trading stocks. I'm selling the market. I'm shorting the top of this range right now. I actually really like this short. I'm going to take 3 contracts here. Again, there's no PDT in futures. I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Most Forex traders day trading should be trading futures. And Top Step X, the biggest edge in funding. They give you a demo. Test your skill with it. Limit your risk. If you lose, you only lose the monthly subscription, $49. If you pass it, you get $50K in funding with a 90% split, and that's just the base one. If you want more funding, they have larger packages as well. But again, the huge edge is 0 commissions, tiny amount of fees per trade. There's nothing else like it in funding, and it really is the biggest edge in funding, in my opinion. 0 commission, tiny amount of fees per trade. It's the way you should learn day trading, in my opinion. But they're a sponsor, an affiliate of mine. They pay me money. I'm definitely biased regarding them. So understand. Top 3 worst trader of all time ever in the world. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Some stocks are cheaper for a reason. Yeah, I mean, people also get wrapped up. Yeah, no, I've been funded in this account. We got funded on another account too. Dude, we've just been getting beat up, bro. Like, this morning might not be my day to trade. Man, look at that squeeze I just got caught in. And then you get to be kind of like a deer in headlights. I got to just cut that. I lost $50. It's not the end of the world. Oh, yeah, we got industrial production numbers at 9:15. I forgot about it. No, but if you use my link instead of paying, what is it? If you don't use my link, you're going to be paying what? Like, or I don't know. I think usually it's $165. For now, it's $49. Bro, the scammers are at it again today, man. Listen to some of these scammers. Where'd it go? Dude, I had a ridiculous offer. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. Sony Entertainment. Guys, apparently Sony wants to sponsor me. You know? Like, listen to these scammers, bro. And again, I'm here to tell you, if you run a medium-sized YouTube channel, scammers will send you nonsense emails regularly, like total nonsense emails regularly, right? And again, they're trying to get you so excited about a potential sponsorship that you ignore the red flags. This is a very common scammer trait. Listen to this email I received from, apparently this is, Sony right here. All right. Greetings. My name is Linda, and I work as a PR manager for Sony Interactive Entertainment. Oh, wow. Linda from Sony. Needs beginner trading, guys. That's what they need. We have been following your activity on YouTube. Sony's watching me on YouTube, and they're saying, you know what? John from Beginner Trading. That's him. We need to sponsor him. Again, quote,
We have been following your activity on YouTube and respect the excellent standard of your material and your skill to engage and motivate your audience. Beautifully written. We are happy to share that we will soon be launching a new collection of AI-powered products. This new set features creative features, many of which are aimed at improving the level of your pictures and clips. We would like to collaborate with you to market this new series of technology. Your expertise and reputation can significantly improve our awareness in these products. When I check the actual email address, it is a complete nonsense email address. Scammers, guys. Absolute scammers. And again, what they do, you see it a lot with job reports. No, they've said that they were San Pellegrino water. I had one from Aquafina. Like, these scammers are just throwing darts at a dartboard trying to hit something. Like, again, Aquafina, guys. Like, when in the world would Aquafina contact me and be like, yo, you know, what am I going to do? Plug water here? Like, people aren't just going to go to the gas station to buy water. They're not going to go to the Walmart to buy water. Instead, they're going to buy water from John at Beginner Trading. What a ludicrous thought, right? Who's going to, like, whoever came up with that idea is a terrible, like, is dumb, you know? Like, let's do water? Water? Guys, come on now. You can do better than that. That's like saying, hey, I'm Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes. You know, we like your trading campaigns, John. You know, we would like to sponsor you. Signed, Tony the Tiger. P.S. Please leave me your social security number. That's basically what they're doing to me over here. And it's just ridiculous. But you see it a lot with jobs. You see it a lot with people with job offers. I see it a lot on Facebook the most. Like, I'll have, like, watch groups or some type of group where they'll post a job, and the job is always too good to be true, right? Like, it'll be on my watch board. They say, oh, somebody I know is hiring. They're paying $6,300 a month. You know, the hours are 10 to 2, you know, and all you got to do is sit on the phone from 10 to 2, guys, and you will make $6,200 a month. Kindly click this link is what they'll tell you. And they're just trying to either fish for data. I've never gotten far enough with them to actually, like, click anything. I always recognize it's a scam pretty quickly. But they'll say, hey, if you're interested, say interested in the comments, and you'll have 20 people interested, just hoping, just oblivious to the scams of the internet, just hoping that they found a job, right? Like, listen, nobody's going to contact you for a job opportunity on a Facebook group. If they do, it's a red flag. But usually they want you to click a link, or sometimes they try to sell you on a sign-up fee. Cough, cough, pay with Walmart gift cards. Cough, 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 you know. Yeah, all they need is one dumb person to click the link, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Waterboy. I am from Louisiana. You know, so maybe I should do a Waterboy advertising campaign. Gatorade sucks, water is better, is what I think my slogan would be. You know? Right, 100% Mopar. Yeah, you're in high demand. Like water, guys. Listen. Gatorade sucks, water's better. John from Beginner Trading. Oh, I would love. Nvidia can call me up, man. Yeah, the older people are the ones that get got with that stuff. They get scammed. It is what it is. I feel for them. You know. Meanwhile, they're talking about how dumb this current generation is, getting scammed by, you know. High quality H2O. Yeah. Aquafina. No, you'd be surprised at how many emails like this. Look at the market rip, though. I just was proven wrong. Just got beat up. I hope I'm not down too much. I made money yesterday, and so I might be down today, and that's all right. Yeah, we're not too bad. Definitely not happy about losing, but probably got a little bit too active this morning. Again, I haven't been doing that great on my day trading recently, and that's okay. But you'd be surprised at the emails that I've gotten, you know. None of them are real. Most of them are real. We got another one that says, you have received a new NFT offer, guys. a new bid has been for one of your NFT listings. You look at the actual, it says OpenSea next to it. You click the actual URL. Nonsense. All right, chat. Yeah, so we did get this big move up in the SPY and the Q everywhere. Peloton sponsorship, dude. Peloton knows they don't want to sponsor me. Peloton's just ridiculous, though. Like, again, people always want to short. I'm going to go into this, and I talk about this regularly, but I think it helps people, so I repeat it. All right, so I'm going to repeat this again because I think it's important to understand. Hello?
Hey, Mr. London.
Yes.
Hey, this is...
Sorry, guys. Hold on. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, no, we got. It wasn't the popos. Somebody's saying it's the popos. It's not the cops. It was. Yeah, we got people installing furniture in my house, and we all. So that it's just furniture installation that they're doing. They're dropping off some stuff, and yeah. Anyways, the SPY broke lifetime highs again. If we maintain this level here, the SPY will be breaking lifetime highs at the opening bell. Yeah, he's regarding me. He's calling me from Aquafina, guys. You know, he heard my sales pitch. Gatorade sucks, water's better, and he's ready to give me an offer. You know, contract. You know. Anyways, Tesla back over the 200 EMA, the VWAP level. Look at the Nasdaq. Look at SPY ripping up. Looks good. Yeah. All right, chat. Whew. Okay, gotcha. Let me put. Sorry, Pawn. I know Pawn probably been sending me stuff. I haven't even checked Discord this morning, bro. My apologies, kind sir. All right, Chad, look at the market rip. I'm going to start shorting this one contract small short position. We've just pushed up so much post open or post 8 o'clock, post 9 o'clock that I don't mind shorting this here. Try to make a little bit of money back. Yeah, I'm trying to turn my third floor into... we got the capacity utilization rate dropping. So, yeah, we got the capacity utilization rate dropping. Industrial production numbers dropping in about 11 minutes. 11 minutes or so, give or take. Yeah. All right, so yeah, industrial production numbers. I wondered if these... $9.15. All right, so we made a little bit. We're up small. But yeah, we do have industrial production numbers. We'll see what it looks like. We had the retail sales data coming out today. Yes, we got industrial production numbers. We got jobless claims numbers out. Oh man, we broke highs again. Still green. I'm gonna add a little bit to this. I might just get punished for this trade, but that's all right. Yeah, if you want to check out Top Step, here's the link, guys. Somebody keeps asking me, so here you go. It's right there. And again, Top Step X, if you use it, you want to use Top Step X. Zero commission, no PDT rule. It's the biggest edge in funding, in my opinion. It really is. It genuinely is. You know, a lot of funded account programs floating around. Top Step's the biggest edge, for sure, in my opinion. It's subjective, but in my opinion, zero commission's a game changer. It's a, you know. Well, I'm looking at extension as well as like I got some other signals. We're right around the tops and some other stuff too. So but again, like I said, I can always get punished. Yeah. Punished again. I'm gonna have to cut it. It's just up way too much. Q and SPY. I guess this is Taiwan Semiconductors. I don't know if the industrial production numbers came out early. So Bank of America says they reaffirmed their 3,000 ounce target for gold, but says there's also a risk that gold may give back some of recent gains. Oof. Yeah, TSM went up big too. Okay, so this is the ECB meeting. President Lagarde says today's policy decision was unanimous regarding the 25 basis point cut. Yeah, again, we got capacity utilization rate coming out pretty soon. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, I'm probably going to stop trading until at least the opening bell. Probably disciplined. I probably should have been more disciplined. But again, coming from the top 3 worst trader of all time ever in the world, I mean, you know, you can't say you're too surprised either. I usually do better after the open. We'll see what happens. You know, really what I do the best, if I'm being honest, is individual stock trading. Swing trading individual stocks is genuinely what I do the best. At least in unrealized, I was up at the end of last year, and this year I'm definitely green. I think in actual realized, let me see. Hello? Yeah, give me 1 second. Chat. Yeah. I just learned my school has a Bloomberg terminal. Bro, you want to go to that school, dude. A Bloomberg terminal. It's Sony again? No, it's Aquafina, guys. They're trying to just really reinforce this Gatorade sucks, water's better slogan I've been having going on. And so, yeah. All right, guys, I will be right back. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Shorting Nvidia's crazy work. I don't know, man. I definitely wouldn't short it at the highs like it is now. I think there's a lot of risk there with anything that's at those deep of highs. And so, yeah, I definitely wouldn't be shorting it at the lifetime highs. But, again, y'all do what y'all got to do. Yeah, y'all do what y'all got to do. It's a busy time right now in markets, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have earnings season. Next week, we got Tesla earnings, which is massive. It's a huge report, a huge day. So, yeah, y'all just be careful. And, again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. We're going to be day trading on Top Step at the opening bell. We've kind of gotten our butt kicked this morning. But one thing that I've noticed, just my own personal look at stuff, is that trends have been working much better recently. So trends have been working much better. So identifying a trend and attacking that trend has been working. Now, that doesn't always work. We are above lifetime highs for the SPY. And so if the SPY can open up above this yellow line, then it's doing pretty well. If it can open up above that yellow line. Market opens up in 17 minutes, 16 minutes. So, yeah, we got some time. We'll see what we get. I'm ready. All right, guys. Hold on 1 second. That's my dog, Bruce. He's yelling. All right, we're back. Sorry. People showed up here. You know, my dogs, man, they are just... This is the wrong house to come into. If you don't know my dogs. I felt like it's too easy today. Felt like a weekend shake off. Yeah. It's been tough to day trade for me, at least. My strategies haven't been working. And this happens every now and then. Like, I think it's really easy to look at stuff and be like, hey, you're doing this wrong or you're doing this right. But, like, you got to understand, there's some moments in markets where trends are working really well. There's some moments in markets where reversals and sideways chop are working really well. There's some moments in markets where buying highs and attacking highs are working really well. So it all depends on the nature of the market. The last few months, we've had a lot of really easy, rangy, sideways neutral activity to attack, and we've done really well on that. But market's been trending super deep. Maybe just the increased volatility. Let me look at what the VIX has been doing as well. The VIX is down right now, so let's see if we can get some other better action. Yeah. A 12-foot USB? No, but I mean, we could always install that afterwards if they can just mount it. Oh, a 12-foot? I don't know. I don't think you're meaning a USB. Oh. I might somewhere. I just don't know where. Yeah. If they have one, we'll buy it. That's all. That cord. All right. Yeah, so the VIX. So market's breaking highs. Let's see, we're watching the VIX right now. The VIX is down a little bit. Okay, the industrial production numbers dropped. I'm sorry, guys. We got people coming over. Industrial production numbers showed minus 0.3 versus minus 0.2% expected. Previous was 0.8%. So I'll put these numbers up on screen. Yeah, here you go. So there's the industrial production numbers right there. They posted minus 0.3 versus minus 0.2%. Thanks, Pawn. Completely forgot about it. So President Lagarde says she did not open the door to another rate cut in December. Basically, they don't think they're going to do another cut in December. Capacity utilization came in at 77.5 or 77.8. See, I'm wondering, like, when the VIX is really high, if we're gonna get better or worse trends. I guess as the VIX moves up, we gotta pay attention to it to see if we're gonna get... The VIX tends to trend pretty well. Market's pushing up to break highs again. All right, guys, let's get ready. So we're going to be day trading live. Let's see what we got. All right. Is this report positive or negative? I mean, it shows a little bit weaker economy in terms of industrial production. Like, industrial production numbers, not the biggest release. Right now we got the ECB rate decision, so it gauges the change in inflation-adjusted value output of manufacturers, quarries, and utilities. Stronger industrial production numbers, generally a stronger economy. You know? Yeah, jobless claims have been out. They were lower than expected. So lower than expected jobless claims. Retail sales were stronger. So we saw stronger economy data than expected is what we showed. Yeah, so the rate decision is on November is going to be big, but the rate decision comes after the election. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be any big change there. Yeah, I'm trying to see if Powell speaks any more this year. I know November 8th he did a conference. November 9th he did a policy panel at the IMF at the Jock Polak annual research conference. December 1st he did a fireside chat at Spelman College. December 13th he did the press conference. So let's take a look. We had the speech already on October. See if he speaks again. See, it doesn't let me look ahead. That's what I want to see. Let's check the calendar. The blackout period is going to be coming in soon. There's a blackout period where he can't speak leading up to the FOMC decision, which it looks like we don't have any other speeches ahead of them, and then it's also after the FOMC decision as well. I remember when Nvidia was stuck in the 400s. Do you think politics influences their decisions? Yes. I don't think he'll ever admit it. I think on both sides, right? I think but yeah, I think during election years, there's pressure to stimulate the economy. I don't know if they, I don't freaking know. But yeah, generally speaking, I think it does some at least. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes. All right, so we do have this big pullback here. I'm wondering if this is gonna be better. Yeah. So, all right, guys. I also think there's a higher chance that we'll go QE rather than QT. I hope not. I don't think we need any more QE right now, though. I really don't think we need any more easing. Like, QE is a horrible idea right now. Like, why in the world would we do QE versus... like, we're still doing QT. We're still at a tightening phase, and I agree with that tightening phase. I do not think we should be doing QE in any way, right? Because, okay, so here's the reality. In 2021, we did a easing cycle. The Federal Reserve lowered interest rates. And the consequence of all of that was inflation. But inflation wasn't necessarily from the rate cuts. Inflation was specifically because the quantitative easing that happened, as well as the stimulus check environment that was sent out, or the stimulus checks in that environment. That's where the inflation came from. And so we can cut rates, and I'm okay with cutting rates. I don't want QE to happen again. I think it's a horrible idea. You know, will it help bring interest rates down faster? Sure. But I don't think it should. I don't think we need that. I hope we don't do that. Yeah, so the opening bell's in a minute and a half, really, roughly, right around a minute and a half. All right, chat. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, you know, when that stuff happened, people were telling people that there was going to be a cost to that, and there was. There was certainly a cost to it, which was inflation spiked a lot. There's the opening bell, chat. There's the opening bell. We'll see if we get it. Look at this big dip at the opening bell. Big dip. Tesla just went red on the day, just at the open, just right at the open. Amazon actually breaking up a little bit more now. Alright, so look at this big dip. I gotta wait until the opening bell. I've already lost some money today. I don't really want to lose more. So I'd rather just chill. All right, so we got a big dip at the open, a big bounce back, but we're still down since the opening bell. Still green on the day and almost everything, mostly driven by TSM. I'm going to put TSM on the bottom right chart just so we can watch it as well. It's pushing up to test highs, and if that starts to break highs, that might drag the whole tech market back up with it. TSM currently at 205s. All right, still breaking lows. Look at that. TSM pulling back some too. We'll see if we can break highs here. Jeez. All right. Big breakdown. Sorry, I'm not saying that about price action. I'm just kind of waiting for things. I'm not trading right now. Dow is up. Is the Dow really up? Yeah, Tesla earnings next week. Next Thursday, I believe. Or is it next Wednesday for Tesla earnings? Massive breakdowns here. We're still in this upward trend. I'm going to try to buy it now, but it's kind of risky, and we're only 3 minutes into the open, and so there's definitely risks. But I'll try it. We'll take a little swing. We haven't had the best accuracy today because big swings up and down. Oh, we only got one. We'll take two. I wanted 2 contracts. Wait, what happened? Sheesh, dude. I might have to just step away today, man. Yeah, I gotta get out. This is brutal price action. Like, huge swings up, huge swings down. I'm probably gonna have to sit out for the rest of the day. I just don't want to lose more. We're down a couple $100, which is not the end of the world. It's not as bad as it could be. Prior to that trade, we were down like 100, maybe 100 and something. But man, that's a big bear action. And honestly, the market's still green on the day, though. Like, we did break lifetime highs at the opening bell. To put this into perspective, the new lifetime highs, I'm not sure if they're going to count it as this up here at 586.30. Let me see. No, so they're going to count at 586.12 is the new lifetime high. Or no, they didn't register it as that. Yeah, okay, this is the new lifetime high, 586.12. But yeah, I might have to sit out for a second because that's just brutal. If you look at TradingView here, I'm gonna pull up my TradingView charts, and so you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at here on TradingView. But man, just brutal. Hoping we can retrace up some at least right now. Man, look at Tesla. Tesla is dumping down here, guys. Wow. Look at Tesla. Why is the market falling like this? What happened? Look at this huge turnaround. Honestly, I'm just glad I'm not down more. But what happened? Let me see. I mean, we got some brutal price action. Goodness, man. I mean, we're still technically green on the day, to put this into perspective of the SPY, right? So the SPY is actually still green on the day, but man, we just gave back all the gains at the opening bell. Just brutal red action. Now we retraced up a little bit here though, so that's good. But man, it's nasty. Digital Music Chairs Day. I was waiting for the told you so market crash predictors. Oh yeah. Again, you know how it goes. Like they want to, like, when you're wrong that much about crashes, they want to be able to, like, they need to take their wins, right? They want to take wins. But the problem is that this is not anywhere near a crash. We're actually still green. But it definitely doesn't look good, I'll tell you that. And I definitely got my butt kicked this morning at the opening bell. For sure, got my butt kicked, which is all right. Like, I'm okay with getting my butt kicked some days. And yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. But man, nasty. We'll see if the market goes up now. It's just such a brutal red action right now. I think everybody's kind of waiting to see what the market does here. We've had so much red action now. I wonder how my 1 minute monster position it was doing here. Let me pull this up. Yeah, I've got a couple different indicators that I've built. Yeah, baby. Hey. Alright, sorry, Carol came in here again. Luckily, my 1 minute predictor didn't really show up at all here, which is good, I guess. You try to run a live stream, and all right. All right, so we have gotten into a little string of green trades. I definitely had to take some time to trade off stream, but we have gotten into a little string of green trades. Now we're red on this one. We got one contract left. Just want to see if it retraces. We get over $10, we're cutting it. We're gonna have to cut it. So we lost 450. So we got a little string of green trades, but man, this is brutal price action. Now, I am tempted to short this, but I would prefer it to get much higher. So I don't mind shorting it as it approaches the volume weighted average price 200 EMA level here, because we have all these big resistance levels that I don't think it's going to break over. But again, who knows? And I think I need to just be patient. If I do enter something, like the volatility is so high today. Did the VIX spike? Short term? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm going to take an E-mini trade, a micro E-mini trade, just because I think there's less risk and it's smaller size even than the NASDAQ. So I'm going to put this up, just one contract so far, and then I'm going to put the E-mini up itself. Again, if we're down like we are today, I want to take small risks, not big risks. And if we get green in a trade, I can add to it versus something else. All right, so we're up 20. I'm going to add to this now. We got 2 contracts here. Well, I'm talking about the VIX on a short-term time frame. Like, I'm talking about the VIX since the opening bell as the... It looked worse to start the day, or to start the market open. We're also watching TSM a lot, which TSM is edging higher. It's the only day of the month where we have, or it's only the only day of the week where we actually have some like economic reports to cover. But I do want to watch TSM here. I'm going to get out a piece of this. I didn't like that. Somehow it gave me some profit there. But TSM's moving up, and I'm worried that's going to drag the S&P up with me. Yeah, there's TSM moving up, and there's the S&P up too. See, this is what I was worried about. Luckily, it gave me some weird fill, so we're only down about $15 on this trade. Yeah, we're just watching TSM close here. Like, look, here's TSM. It's testing highs of the day. I don't really want to get in this. I'm going to cut this small right here. We lost like 15 bucks. There's TSM breaking highs of the day. So that's what I didn't want to get stuck in necessarily. But yeah, I'm kind of trying to trade small right now. And again, you can kind of look at everything else here. Here's the NASDAQ 100. TSM broke up and then kind of started to pull back some now. Down to 205. Let's see if that helps. We got some stagnation after big breakdown this morning. Is it all-time highs for TSM? It is. Okay, I didn't even realize that. It's all-time highs on TSM. Wow. Watching the SPY closely too. SPY could be worse, but Nvidia going up, is it really? Yeah, it probably has to do with TSM rising. Look at TSM just broke highs again. Got up to 207s right now. 207s. Here, sorry, I want to put this up on screen. Here's the Nasdaq above you. Yeah, there's some days, there's some weeks, there's some months that are just not going to be good, you know. And again, like I said, the way I identify like a rookie trader is somebody that sees somebody have a losing day or a losing week even, and then really tries to say, aha, I told you so, or whatever. That's usually the sign of like a very young, like rookie trader that hasn't really experienced those type of things yet. Everybody's systems, strategies, all that stuff have moments of time when they're working really well and have moments of time when they're not. And that's pretty standard. Like, that's not crazy or abnormal, I'll say. You know, some days are better than others for sure. And all we can really hope for is good price action. But again, TSM is the story of the day for sure. It's having a parabolic rise on earnings this morning, dragging it much higher. Yeah, and I try to be honest with my stream about my actual strengths and weaknesses, you know what I mean? And so we do okay. Let's see if TSM makes another push. This will be interesting. TSM making another push. It's at 207.20s. Could drag everything else up with it. They finally have some type of momentum showing up. TSM breaking highs again here. Wow. Look at that. I don't think we have anything else today. Let me see. No, not really. We got Lagarde speaking in 27 minutes. Yeah, TSM's ripping up. I tend to think we're going to pull back here, but I might be wildly wrong. I've been trading the regular E-mini today versus what I mean is the S&P 500 E-mini versus the NASDAQ. Even though the NASDAQ might have like more obvious correlations, I should say. Do we have home builder confidence? Let me see what we got. Oh, we do have business inventories. That's not anything major, to be honest, though. Let's see, we got business inventories. Yeah. New high coming with the NASDAQ. All right, so let's see if the market can turn here. Here's the SPY. Again, TSM has been on a tear for sure. All right, so we're right at that 200 EMA VWAP level, which I do like as a resistance level in the SPY. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, though, but we'll see if that 200 EMA VWAP level consolidate towards each other can have some type of influence over the direction of markets right now. Yeah, TSM continuing to rip over highs. Yeah, so we're pushing up. We're tapping that 200 EMA. Again, what's going on is TSM is flying up right now. So TSM is making moves. Yeah, so look at TSM. TSM breaking highs up 209. Let's see if it hits 210s. That's a big, drastic level. Bro, I gotta get this thing to stop giving me these notifications. All right, so we are getting a little bit of a dip back down here. We did reject at that 200 EMA VWAP level. I don't know if it's going to continue to sustain that rejection, but we'll see. We also have some economic data. 14 cents away from NVIDIA all-time highs. Is it really? Yeah, we'll see if it can sustain that. $4 from all-time high in gold. Again, if you want to check out Top Step, limit your risk. There's no PDT on Top Step. You can day trade short on Top Step X. There's zero commission. You can also use TradingView on Top Step. No PDT, where you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, gold, some currencies, the Dow, the Russell. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns, but there's no PDT in futures. So it's where most pro day traders actually trade is the futures market because there's no PDT rule. You can day trade short, buy market, sell market. Very similar to day trading stocks. And again, the great thing about Top Step, the biggest edge in my opinion, is that on Top Step X, there's zero commission. So you can day trade with literally zero commission here on Top Step X. And if, you know, you can take small scalps, take small positions, confirm everything with them. But you can take these small positions, day trade short, and 74 cents in fees with micro contracts. So if I trade the micro E-mini, 74 cents in fees, tiny amount of fees per trade relative to anywhere else I trade futures. It's just a great way to learn how to day trade, and they're a funded program, so they give you a demo, test you with that. The base one, you got to make 3K without losing 2K, so it's a pretty reasonable ratio as well. And it has some of the best rules in the game once you're actually funded. Legit, some of the best rules in the game. So check them out. They are an affiliate or sponsor of mine. And so I'm biased for sure. But it is a great way to learn how to day trade with limited risk, in my opinion. You can check it out there. We have 4 minutes left until business inventories. We'll see how those move markets here as well. I'm wondering if the market starts to slow. Yeah, there's a big drop on the E-mini. We're finally grinding up some money here. And this is Top Step X if you want to check it out. So we are trading the E-mini here. We're down on the day for sure. But I'm going to add a little bit to this. We got 2 contracts here. There we go. Added to it. Locked in. All right, so we just had a nice little string of trades. You can kind of see the string of trades that we had here. So I'll take it. But again, 74 cents. 74 cents per trade. I can make $5 still net profit. I can make $30 still net profit on Top Step. Again, it's the biggest edge in funding. But we got this data coming out now. Gold just hit all-time highs. VIX is popping up a little bit as well on these dips. Gold just broke all-time highs at 2704, 2705. NVIDIA is getting close. Amazon's actually breaking down. And again, with Taiwan semiconductors moving up, NVIDIA did break all-time highs. NVIDIA just tapped up 140.89. Is the new all-time highs for NVIDIA. And you guys have probably heard me say this before. This is a very very common movement pattern in markets, right? When something breaks all-time highs, especially in stocks, what you see is you see a move up to it. So like, let's put NVIDIA up here. The first time it breaks the all-time high, right? You see this very common, very common. Sometimes those all-time high levels can be like magnets. And so you can kind of see we slowly creep up. This yellow line's all-time highs. We slowly creep up towards it. Once we tap that all-time high level and break it, then we dump afterwards, right? Like you've probably heard me talk about this movement pattern before. You could just see it on NVIDIA. Like we go all the way up to all-time highs. It's kind of like a magnet. And then once we actually hit the all-time high, we dump, right? And again, I'm not saying it holds down there. I'm really not sure. Our VWAP fade worked really well on the SPY here. So the VWAP fade strategy worked really well on the SPY. We'll see if it continues now. And we got 2 minutes left before we got business inventories. We'll cover that. Again, I don't know how much it's going to move things, but we'll cover it. Now we're grinding under the NVIDIA 200 EMA VWAP level. I'm going to short this now. Actually, wait. I don't think business inventories are really going to impact it like this. So we'll try shorting this here. Here we go. Business inventories expected at 0.3. 50 seconds. All right, so just locked in a little bit more. Small little base hits now. I'm going to get out because we got that economic data about to come out. Just made like 10, 15 bucks. All right, here we go. But we did bounce back a little bit this morning, even though we're still down for sure. But you can kind of see we bounced back some. I'll take it. Yeah, you might actually be right on gold regarding the all-time high. Yeah, 2708.70 is the all-time high. We didn't quite hit it yet for gold. We're getting close to it, though. Let's see where the VIX is. NVIDIA just turned too. All right, here we go. So there's business inventories. They showed up as expected at 0.3%. The NAHB housing market index showed up at 43. So that was neutral. Retail inventories, core retail inventory showed up at 0.5 versus 0.4%. So basically flat data here. So yeah, not too much to talk about. Not the biggest stuff going on. And then NVIDIA down to 139s. Gold's still creeping towards all-time highs. So we're going to put gold up on this chart. So you can see the all-time highs on gold are 2708s. So we're at 2705s now. Gold all-time highs are back here somewhere, but we're getting close. I'm not saying it's gonna break it. I really don't know, but it looks like it's trying. All right, look at the SPY come all the way back down. So again, remember we talked about that VWAP fade strategy. I think for now I'm going to set a rule for my trading where I'm only going to start day trading about 20 minutes after the opening bell, because I've noticed this trend where I do really well 20 minutes after the bell. I get beat up the first, like I'm trading too early in pre-market, I think, as well, is what I'm doing wrong for sure. There's a rejection in everything. Nvidia did break lifetime highs. Gold's getting up there, but it's not close. Or it's close, but it's not there yet, I mean. What will be the explanation for the crazy moves in the first 20 minutes? Well, I don't know. I think it's just a mix of market news, volatility, economic reports, a lot of stuff. It's Lagarde speaking. So it's the European Central Banks saying a lot of stuff this morning. So the ECB has been talking a lot this morning. That's going to influence everything a lot. And you know, when Lagarde, which is the president of the European Central Bank, speaks, she's going to influence markets. You know, she'll influence markets change, and you know, they'll move because of all that stuff. So that's kind of what's going on here. But yeah, dude, I'll see you guys later. I love you all. Y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're pushing towards 150K. Thanks so much for the growth, and y'all be back. We will be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we have some FOMC members speaking. We got Bostic and Kashkari speaking after the bell. We got Fed Waller speaking. We got building permanent housing start data at 8:30. I don't know how much those are going to move markets at all, but we'll see if they do. But again, this week's kind of boring. Next week's kind of boring too in terms of economic reports. You know, Thursday's the busiest day next week as well. But the week following next week is busy. But I'm looking at what happens next week. Nothing really. Get the Bank of Canada rate decision. Yeah, we got jobless claims, durable goods, Michigan inflation expectations. So Thursday, Friday busy, kind of busy. The rest of the week's slow. Weird. We do have earnings, so it's we got Tesla earnings and some other stuff dropping next week. So it's not like we don't have anything going on. We actually have a lot of earnings reports early in the morning next week, and I'm trying to see if we have anything tomorrow, earnings wise. I don't think so. No, so, but next week we got some stuff. Like Tuesday we got Verizon, GM, RTX, 3M, GE, Quest, Lockheed Martin, Sherwin-Williams, ENPH Tuesday, Texas Instruments, Baker Hughes. Today we have Netflix earnings. And then Wednesday morning we got Boeing, AT&T, Coca-Cola, and then Tesla Wednesday. And then Thursday, American Airlines, UPS, Southwest Airlines, NASDAQ, Tractor, Dow Chemical. Yeah. No. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Remember, top 3 worst trader of all time. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. The VIX popped up a little bit. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good.